So I know you guys brought up the one topic, the Overwatch creator, Overwatch co-creator, Jeff Kaplan, right? Kind of like snapping a little bit now that he's free from the initial
Shackles.
deal, so now he's got his own game that he's working on, The Legend of California, speaking plainly about what games need. Like a co-creator says, you need 8 billion players to succeed in a free-to-play game, right? In a quote on a recent interview. Just dropping F-bombs, basically being very frank. Let's talk about it.
I mean, and that's crazy because Jeff was, when I was on Overwatch, I used to, every developer update, I would be on it every time on YouTube. I'll be damn near the first one out there. Like, yo, what's going on in Overwatch right now? What? He had a new character. He had some buffs, some nerfs. Like, what's going on? I would be on there. After a while, I just stopped. But Kaplan basically just went off. Basically talking about I think the pressure started happening with Overwatch since the Overwatch League started ramping up in 2017, the end of the 2024. But once that, I think he was saying once that started happening, that then the big suits were saying oh, we need this many players to keep this thing going and to this much revenue coming in. If we don't hit that benchmark for the most part, we're gonna lay off 1,000 people or whatever for Overwatch, and we're gonna blame you for it. Damn. That's the crazy part about it. And I think at that point he was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this. Nah."
That's crazy.
What do you think, LVG, about Overwatch's turn? And I think this is a part of that conversation we had about how this has turned so industry. And no matter where you are, but high school doesn't, you don't leave high school with the cliques and things like that. And people being petty in high school and hating certain people and doing certain things and having bad deals or having bad relationships, that continues into adulthood, right? However, somebody crosses you a certain kind of way, and people that leave and have negative things to say, unfortunately, about whatever was going on, it carries to adulthood. They move on for different reasons, right? And so Kaplan doesn't have any great things to say about his former employee, and that carries over into gaming. What do you think generally about his commentary, kind of stepping out and kind of speaking very frank about what's going on, and as he moves into his own new ventures?
Oh, and then I'm sorry, just a correction to that about that. He did say that 2020 needs to have a certain number, and then after that, every year has to have recurring revenue of that every year. And then, like I said, if that doesn't happen, laying up 1,000 people, and that's going to be on you. That's what they said to Jeff when that happened. So. He said it felt like a big slap in the face, basically, because he's been doing this for a long time. So,
trying to gaslight that man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody from Blizzard get laid off because of SA allegations?
That's true too. Yeah, Activision did have in Blizzard, they had that whole SA harassment thing going on for a minute, actually.
So, is he lying about the treatment of the employees and how things is going on? You can say that he's being hateful. That's fair, but there's always some truth in there somewhere. I don't know where. I can't speak on it. I don't know too much about the situation. I'm just basing it off of experience that I've had with old jobs and old employers. Listen, y'all was on some bull crap, and now that I'm not here, I ain't on a waiver, I ain't on a contract. I'm gonna say some stuff about y'all. If y'all think if it's not true, then that's cool. But I know what I saw. I know what I'm talking about. But the fact is, man, they talking about they had all those issues with that place. We can Google some stuff about Blizzard and know they've been problematic for a while.
Yeah, that's also very true too. Because I do remember you brought that up. I was like, yeah, that did happen. I think, I'm not sure what year that was. It was 2022, 2023. It was recent though. They had the SA allegations. And I'm not sure if it was Blizzard or Activision. It was one or two. I mean, Blizzard's under Activision.
Laws to frat boy culture, widespread discrimination and retaliation against female employees. Yeah, Blizzard ain't. Yeah.
They're not Saints either. They're not Saints.
No.
Yeah.
That's the continuing term that seems to come out of people's mouths when it comes to that company, But hey, I mean, as we see, hopefully with time, whether their culture changes or whether or not another company comes, nobody stays at the top forever. Another company will be the new top company to create games and maybe not perpetuate this kind of culture within their walls. It's something that happens, unfortunately, everywhere for any career. Gaming is no different.
What's that company you want to see to take over and be at the top?
At the top for like just in gaming in general?
I don't even know now because what's the name of the company that made Expedition? Like it's almost like having smaller companies of like core teams. Sandfall. They make contracts and make great games and call it a day. I think they're working on the next game now. They might be just kind of chilling, but they're working on the next Claire Obscure game, right? But they're probably doing contracts and things like that. I think even to a point where conglomerates like Ubisoft or a Blizzard or
Ubisoft is going.
You know what I'm saying? Like when it got too big, right? But there are hidden gems like Naughty Dog and like that you don't hear much of because they kind of are just chilling. They're doing their thing. They stick to their niche. They don't try to grow too big. They haven't tried to make anything that's been pandering. Like, but it's big. But you know what I mean. But it's not like making anything like kind of like exploiting series. You know what I mean? Like multiple Call of Duty. Well, that's different. That's not saying that it's different. Last of Us is different. Last of Us doesn't have like a multiplayer. There's not Last of Us 6. You know what I'm saying?
The first one did. But it wasn't talked about like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The first one did. It was actually
good. We got Last of Us 6 because we got Last of Us 1 and 2 4 different times. So I mean.
Okay. No, you're so. I think, but I think the quality of the Last of Us series has kind of stayed. It's not like Assassin's Creed has depleted over time. Call of Duty has depleted over time.
I see.
Another game franchise that's not the same anymore. People don't like the directions Persona has gone. Persona 5, Final Fantasy, I'll even say, is different. A Cornered loves 16, but it's not. It's 7, 10
split on 16.
Yeah, but 7 and 10 were peak. People like 13. Every one of the Final Fantasy games has their core fan group, but yeah, I think it's also a different thing. Oh no, Kingdom Hearts. As a Kingdom Hearts fan, don't get me started. But yeah, like
I'm still trying to finish 3. I just can't do it. I'm struggling.
I can tell you the end, so you don't have to finish.
Damn.
I'm not even.
I got to a part where I got to collect different versions of myself. I'm like, and everybody's running around. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here, man?
You might be
all
at
these
the
little
end,
Zoras. Like, is that? I hope so because man,
you're near the end. You're at the end basically. You're at the end.
Yeah, I need to lock in and finish it.
You do. I do.
Because I'm like, it just went south for me. Like, and I'll be the first to say I didn't even like Kingdom Hearts for when it first dropped. And then I finally sat down and played the first one. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yep.
I like that. Played the second one. Ooh, okay. Played, what was it when you played as Terra in them? Which one was that?
Birth by Sleep.
Fire. The ending threw me, but fire.
Yeah.
It's crazy about Square Enix that they had. Y'all talking about? You said that 13 was like people like 13, whatever. It was recently, I think last week, the Square Enix Twitter, they put out a picture of the protagonist from 13 and just said focus. So
Lightning,
yeah, and I'm just like, so are they trying to say something about a remake or remasters coming of 13 soon? I always thought it was 9 coming. I thought you thought it was 9 coming soon.
I thought it was 8, but you could be right.
Maybe it was 8.
No, they've hinted at 9. People have had talks of rumblings of 9 too. It's people are. It's kind of like the Rush thing, like with 7 being what it is now. Grab 8, grab 9. Yo, you got 13. Bring that over here.
Right.
14 they can't do that because it's an online MMORPG, so that just feeds itself or whatever. 15, nah, leave that where it's at.
They don't need it.
Nah, they don't.
1 through 6, nah, leave them where they're at. Nah, leave them where they're at. Give me 11. Nah, that's a kind of pocket in time. We'll leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like, what? You know what I'm saying? 12. Nobody talks about 12. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I will definitely admit that when Final Fantasy started hitting like towards like medieval-esque type stuff, I'm like, that's when I lost interest. I was like,
that's when you checked out?
Like, yeah. I mean, I beat 12, but it's just like, I don't know. It was something
because it leaned back to what it initially was. Like 1 through 6 was the inspiration. What was it? Dungeons and Dragons type deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Final Fantasy just makes a difference. Final Fantasy is different because of its imagery, but it's also, even when you saw like the gaming documentary on Netflix, Final Fantasy is just Dungeons and Dragons JRPG. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just same thing. You know what I'm saying? You get your party of your swordsman, your wizard, your brute person, your fighter person. You get them in a party and you go on an adventure. You know, you fight different kinds of monsters and you beat a conclusion. Now, like 7 is the twist because it started getting the steampunk thing and the PlayStation bit or whatever. Then we can go on for days of like how it like pivoted. But 1 through 6 are generally kind of like a similar theme. Like, and of course they have their own niches or whatever. Don't attack me, Final Fantasy. You don't know nothing about 1 through 6. I don't. I don't.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't.
But correct me if I'm wrong. If they all have that theme, you know, they were all similar themes, but they had different characters, different stories, lines, different things like that. But yeah, so like overall, like we're talking about franchises. I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know. I don't know who we want to see on top. I feel like, you know, the same concept of like, do we need billionaires? Because that money could be going towards other things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You talked about it last episode, but right now it looks like Capcom's on top of that hill. Looks
Capcom
like,
is a no. It should be no. That counts. Yeah, because it's bringing, but they're bringing back their IPs, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole thing. It's like who's going to be top dog next or whatever. Who's not problematic. People can get behind. It's up in the air as of this episode of the podcast.
Personally, I love platinum games, but that's just me though. I love platinum games. They have the hack and slash genre. I love it. Like all that game, the recent game Ninja Gaiden 4, I loved it. I beat it. I loved it. It was difficult at times, but I loved it. You know, near Automata, the Bayonetta series, Devil May Cry is platinum. Is that platinum?
Devil May Cry.
I thought they were Capcom.
They are Capcom. You're right. That's Capcom. But yeah, Platinum got a lot of games. And I love them. They were going to have Scalebound, and you know.
Oh man.
Not a thing anymore. So, you know, I'm from the rooftops. I'm screaming, Scalebound. When are you gonna bring it back? And I haven't heard anything about it. There was a rumor of something happening before, like I think last year, but then nothing came of it. So, yeah. So I mean, yeah, this whole Kaplan thing is lets me know of the discussion we had before recently in the beginning part of the episode that Suits is just making it so that people are like they're not enjoying gaming anymore, and people like Kaplan seen that firsthand, like saying like the whole I think he even had a quote saying like he would be in meetings and people would say, Fortnite, he would say, Fortnite has 1,400 people working on it, so if we just hire 1,400 people, we'll make it and we'll make it free to play, we'll get that money back, right? Not knowing what has to be going into this like the game in order to make it successful. So people just trying to all they see is the numbers and they see the money and that's all they want.
Just trying to copy things.
Else that comes in between.
There's not the heart, but there's no heart. Like it's so wild, man. It's wild, man. You know
shout out to Kaplan, you know?
Yeah, shout out to Kaplan. Other people that have like separated themselves from their company. Not saying that I don't want companies to fall. That's not what I'm saying. But people who who want to see different. Like even some people who separated from Ubisoft and made Expedition 33. Right? There's like Kaplan separated from Blizzard. Now he's making his own thing. People are just doing that in droves now, separating and finding their own companies and making games that they care about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they do.